Hi everyone, Tara Malarkey, founder of Seven Figure Femme and High Ticket Empress. I just did a little reel and a post about sales, so it's on my mind. And there's a couple things I want to share with you. So one is that there's a lot of people out there who are telling you that you can do high ticket sales without doing sales calls. And the reason that they're doing that is because most people loathe sales calls. And I get it, right? None of us love sales calls. They're hard. They bump up against our edges, right? And we have right on the table in front of us one of our biggest fears every single time we do it. And that is the fear of rejection, right? Making an offer to someone and there's a very high likelihood that person will say no to you. The thing is that most people in the world, they are so scared of rejection, right? All of us are, even me, right? We just have to do the work inside to become more comfortable with it. Because as you know, and as an entrepreneur, you are going to face that fear a lot. And you got to be willing to face that fear. So that's like step number one, right? Are you willing to face that fear? Because if you're not, you will constantly shy away from sales calls. And let's just be honest, okay? Someone might tell you that you can do high ticket sales without sales calls, and it's really not true, okay? So we recently had someone a couple months ago say they went with another program, not High Ticket Empress, because this competitor was teaching how this person could do high ticket sales without sales calls. And she eventually came back and told us that ultimately she still had to do sales calls. So that marketer was telling them up front that they didn't have to do sales calls. But at the end of the day, what this person realized was that everyone still wants to talk to you if they're going to spend, say, more than, let's say, $5,000 on a coaching program, okay? And when we're talking high ticket sales, we're talking about $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $25,000 and higher. That's how I believe you need to structure your business so that you can actually become cash flow positive and actually stay in business and grow. And so the thing is, guys, yeah, you could have a sales page and yeah, you could have a DM conversation. But for the most part, 99% of the time, anyone who's going to give you a credit card for a $5,000 or $10,000 purchase or $15,000 purchase or $20,000 purchase is going to want to speak to someone, okay? And so, there was a time some years ago when I was first starting that I was doing sales calls and I was hearing no a lot. And if I heard, I need to talk to my husband, I need to sleep on it, I need to talk to my spirit guides, I need to blah, 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 and I'll get back to you. And they never got back to me. I was just gonna throw it in, right? I wanted to quit. And so many people are wanting to quit. And I get it, right? The thing is though, there really is no other way around it. So why not acknowledge that you're facing the wounds that you have, that, it just hurts a lot and it feels really disappointing when someone says no. And why not use that as a challenge to get better at sales? Here's one example for you. Say you do $20,000 a month. Okay, so let's say that you make 4 sales a month at $5,000 a program. Okay, so that's how simple it can be, honestly. Only 4 new clients a month at $5,000 is a $20,000 a month or a $240,000 a year. And let's say that you talk to 10 people that month to get those 4 people inside. Okay. Now, let's say that you increase your close rate or your sales conversion rate from the 4 to 6, okay? Whatever percentage that is. Just by getting better at sales and not even changing your lead generation, how many people are reaching out to you, how many sales calls you're getting, right? Not even changing those things, which obviously you can change. Just getting better at sales can add 10 to 20,000 or more to your sales that month. Okay. And that could be the difference, right? If you double your sales just by increasing your sales conversion, you could actually add 500,000 to your yearly revenue or $1 million to your yearly revenue. So tell me that it's not worth it to get better at sales. Now, most of you know I have a team now, right, that does sales for me. So many people that come to us, they want to also have a team so they don't have to do sales. And I mean, I'm never going to tell you what you can't do as a coach, right? But I highly recommend that you don't do that out of the gate, right? So that is something you do when you're further down the track and you're scaling. So I didn't hire my first salesperson until I was at maybe $50,000 a month in sales. So I was doing all the sales myself until $50,000 a month. And at that point, right, that's at a capacity point where you're like, I can't grow the business if I stay on sales calls. The good part about that as well is that I had perfected our sales process. So I actually had a system and a process that worked. And that was what I used to train my team to sell for me. If you try to do this before you actually get good at selling your own program, guess what? They're going to have a problem selling your program. And then you have a bigger issue, right? Because then they're not happy, they're not making money, and you're not making money. And so sales is paramount for your business. So that's why I wanted to kind of I want to start talking about this more, because I feel like so many people, especially women, are just shying away from sales. You know, the two questions I ask the most to my students when they are feeling like they want more results in their business is, how many calls do you have on your calendar right now? And how many calls are you closing? That's really the only two barometers that you need to be tracking or pushing forward in your business right now, right? So you cannot make sales unless you have discovery calls or strategy calls on your calendar. So that's step one. If you want to make sales this week, they're not going to just come out of the blue. You got to get on the phone with someone and make an offer, right? It's just the way sales works. And so what are you doing right now to schedule people in for this week? And because if they're not scheduled in, there's no chance you're going to make any money, right? If we're talking a high ticket sales model. And then the second thing is, how do you get better at the sales call? And we are not interested in sleazy sales processes. Of course, guys, you got to get that out of your mind. That's a limiting belief that you're like, I don't want to be that salesy person. Blah, blah, blah. And so then you don't want to do it. But then you're not going to make any money and you're not going to grow your business, right? So there's totally a way to do it in integrity. But one of the biggest things that you need to have on your sales calls is confidence, right? Like the reel that I just posted, right? And it's like, you have to state the price and you have to really believe in the value of what you're offering, and you have to stay quiet and let that person decide, right? And so many are nervous, and it's okay to be nervous, of course, but stumbling over their words. And that's why the more sales calls you do, the better you're gonna get. Even my sales team right now, they're 3-4 months in, the team that I have right now. And it's like, now really is like, they know how to sell my program inside and outside. And so it's the same for you. The more you get on calls and the more you hear no, the better you're going to get. You're not going to get better if you're never doing calls. You know what I mean? So you got to get in the game and you got to get calls on your calendar. And really that's pretty simple, guys, right? Then you're just starting conversations with your organic audience, with Facebook group people, with Instagram people, and you're saying, hey, let's hop on a call and talk about it, right? And of course, there's all the other pieces that I teach inside of High Ticket Empress and some of the other free training that I give here, which is your offer has to be solid, right? Your messaging has to be solid. Then that makes the sale easy, right? If all that is solid. But for today, we're just going to talk about sales, and that, you need to get calls on the calendar, okay? You need to get calls on the calendar, and then you need to get better at closing those sales. And I know that terminology sounds like we're just treating people like a commodity and we don't care about them. That's not true, right? We're just talking about sales You got to close them. Meaning, you know what, we're talking to my sales every day. I speak with my sales team. We have like a sales huddle. And we talk about, you know, the different people that are coming through, applying to work with us in High Ticket Empress. I mean, we get dozens of applications a day, guys, right? So that's at the point that we're at. But what they were saying is that, you know, it is such a gift to give someone the opportunity to step into their next level. And that's the way you have to see it. So you have to believe so much in your program that you really do know, right? That your health coaching program or your relationship coaching program or your business coaching program or your career coaching program, whatever it is, that it will dramatically change their life for the better. And when you believe that, you're going to be able to sell it that much easier. And so what you're doing when you give someone an offer to step in and invest a lot of money with you is change their life. Like their life will never be the same, right? And so you have to believe that in order for you to sell it. But just getting better at sales, guys, just getting better at sales can add millions to your revenue line. And the thing is, you know, at the end of the day, if you're in this business where you want to have an online education or coaching, consulting company, right? You want to make money online, you have to sell. I don't care how you do it. If you don't do high ticket sales, which is obviously what I believe is the best way to do it, and I think everyone needs to have a high ticket offer. But even if you want to sell on Etsy, even if you're selling on a sales page, a course, right? A low ticket course, you still got to sell. You still got to sell. You're still going to have people that, you know, yeah, maybe they buy on your sales page, but some people that are going to DM you. And then how do you handle that conversation to get them to purchase? Everything is sales, guys. So the better you can get at just getting better at it, healing the wounds inside of you that make you have limiting beliefs around sales, or you feel like a sleazy, salesy, murky, like not good person. You like to people please and you don't like to put people in uncomfortable situations. Listen, having them step into a high ticket program, they're gonna feel uncomfortable, guys. So you got to be okay. You got to be in your queen energy there and be able to sit with that and allow them to step in. If you don't give them that opportunity and you get nervous for them and you don't want to, you don't want them to feel uncomfortable, then it's going to be really hard. They're not going to trust you, right? They're not going to trust you as their coach that you can hold space for them. So there is so much to it. And the more you do it, the better you will get at it. If you obviously need top level training, please reach out, right? Because like, honestly, the training that I give, not only on how to handle the call, but then how to handle objections is probably the biggest thing, right? What do you do when that person says, okay, thank you so much. I'm going to take some time to think about it. Yes. If you let every single person off the phone who says that, you will never make a sale. And this is such a hot topic, right? Because I know so many of you might be thinking, well, it is not nice to force someone to make a decision when they said, I need to think about it, right? Because a lot of us are trauma informed and we understand that we want to honor people's process and we don't want to manipulate them or hurt them or re-traumatize them. Of course, right? Of course. However, there is this other side, right? Which is if you do that every time and you let someone off of the hook where they're bumping up against their capacity limit, they're nervous, they can't make a decision or they feel like they can't make a decision and you don't help them past the point to make a decision, whether it's yes or it's no, getting skilled at that conversation and really being a high level coach there, right? Being able to get someone past that point is so powerful and you will feel so good and they will feel so good and be so grateful to you. So when you learn how to do this in a feminine way, in a way that feels really honoring, right? And you know your integrity and your heart is not at all just to get the sale. It's not about that, right? It really is getting them past the part where they always fizzle out, right? They always say, oh, it's too much. I got to think about it, right? It's like take the pressure off. But they're bumping up against this place that they always come to and they stay in the same place, right? So how can you get them past that place. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to say yes. You are literally in the interest of trying to make sure or figure out with them if this is the right thing for them. That's all, right? It's so powerful, and it's such a service. So get in the game, guys. If you need help, DM me. I love you all, and hope to see you inside High Ticket Empress soon. Bye.